I can say, from catching zombies to catching ghosts, is that progression that you have just made on screen for us?
The film got made in a very independent film spirit. Literally, I didn't get paid. And they said, this is a very bad idea and you shouldn't be making films like this. But we did it anyway. And it got a lot of... So I think film history is full of stories like that, about crazy people wanting to tell stories and finding love finally. But Bhoot Police was a much more commercial idea and much more rooted in kind of Indian culture. And it was crazy about right from the start. And Vibhuti was a character that I just loved from the first time I read it. And in fact, it's quite toned down. And if we make a sequel, which we're planning to, I'm going to suggest to the writers that, you know, they bring in some stuff from the old drafts, etc. Anyway, it's a journey that started and I'm quite thrilled. But yeah, there is a progression, and the progression is that we're now coming into the mainstream, whereas Go Go Gone was a little niche.
How did Taimur react to actually watching your... I mean, of course, no spoilers here. If I'm expecting people have watched the movie, but yes,
Yeah, I mean, he's seen Bhoot Police. He was on set. He's seen me be excited about it. He's wondering why I'm coming home with that kind of makeup on. He saw it, and I think he thoroughly enjoyed it. Horrifically scary, you know. You can just you can watch it, and it's almost more funny than it is scary.
You know, I mean, you have always been one actor who has not really followed the trend. If I talk about taking to the OTT, you took at a time when probably we were just getting used to the entire digital space with Sacred Games. Then you had your releases coming on OTT. You are now here with Bhoot Police. I mean, has it just happened, or you have, because you've not been bothered about following the race, or how has it been?
It's really not being bothered about the race. I mean, obviously I've never seen the point of doing that. Like, I'm quite happy. I mean, I think I'm way more successful than I ever thought I'd ever be, you know. So I'm just happy, and I'm already happy. So I'm just enjoying myself playing. Someone brings me a part, I'm honored and excited, and I do my best to play that as crazily now and as interestingly now as I possibly can, without any thought or fear about anything else, you know. So that's all it is. And as far as the OTT, it was never like, you know, I want to be first, or this is a very clever thing. But again, I think I didn't have that fear that, oh, is it television or is it the small screen? Because I thought I understood early that Netflix is a very revolutionary idea. Like, they challenge that notion that people have, that, you know, you're bringing like small screen entertainment is less valuable somehow than big screen entertainment.
Right.
Like, Netflix internationally are capable of putting more money into a project of theirs than a lot of films have, because they want to change that idea. A kid with a phone can have a cinematic experience that is more intense than a bunch of guys in the theater. That's a crazy idea. And that's what Netflix was trying to do. It's also the best piece of writing that I've been involved with, and most adventurous piece of writing. I mean, Kubra Seth's character, when she shows, you know, her gender, let's say, to Nawaz, that scene is so disturbing and lovely, and I've never seen anything like it in international cinema. And I think that's why we were nominated for an Emmy.
Right.
And so it's just, you want to be part of something. I want to be part of something that's just well made, and the intention is to entertain.
You know, when you started, you had a legacy kind of a thing on your shoulders, and now when you've carved your own niche in the industry, what inspired your choices all these years through today, when you now...
the first thing you want to do is, you don't want people abusing you and throwing chappals on you in Gaiety Galaxy. That's where you come into the movie industry. You don't want to be laughed at. That's the standard. You don't, you're not And then you're just trying to survive, at least me. And it was a very different time then, you know. I mean, I didn't have the mental approach that a lot of my contemporaries had, reigning superstars. Some of them were superstars from the first film till now, you know. But for me, it's been very like a balanced, a mirror reaction to my mental state. My doing well or not doing well, or the audience liking me, has been very related to how I'm feeling. And I was not comfortable. I was a very westernized, and a westernized English, anglicized approach is the opposite of a Hindi film hero, because
Right.
you know, they're not very macho for a start. They're quite happy to be skinny and soft spoken, and you know, it's a very different standard. So that was not really settling, but the audience always gave me a chance. And there was some, like, I watched my old films and there was a likability. I think I was trying. You could see that there was a lack of inhibition, and there was an attempt, lack of taking yourself too seriously. There was a decent, attractive quality. I can see that. But I just chose the best of what I was offered and tried to. This was also bread and butter. I mean, you know, what does one do in life? I know people with degrees from Oxford, you know, who haven't got jobs today. Like, how do you get to a stage where you get paid, you know, for what you do? Now, the choices are doing something commercial, but at the same time, interesting, you know, and just to kind of find the reality in the performance.
What do you think for you the definition of superstar was?
No,
different
my
anytime?
parents were superstars, but they didn't behave like that. And I think it's really easy to take yourself too seriously, you know. And whether it's having a bunch of bodyguards around, or that vibe, or whatever it is, or just taking yourself too seriously. I mean, I have a very international perspective on things, and I mean, I don't want to look like an idiot, or I don't want to sound like an idiot, as far as possible. I mean, I often do, I'm sure. But so that's an upbringing from parents, and an education from like an English boarding school. So those are different things. I mean, you can't blame somebody who doesn't know any better, you know, because that's just, maybe it just comes. You have to be taught not to get carried away by certain.
I mean, I read that you didn't want, you were hesitant to take up Dil Chahta Hai, and then of course you did. Then Omkara happened, then Being Cyrus, then there was Go Gorgon, Lal Kaptan, such kind of films.
You know, the bottom line. So no, I'm saying the bottom line is, you never know what works and what people like. Like Dil Chahta Hai is the third lead, you know, wasn't like the most. So it's so tempting to kind of, you never know what is the right path, and to have the clarity of thought and to be brave enough to kind of choose a path and films that are based on just, you know, an honesty of role. I think ultimately it's that simple. People want to be entertained by what you're doing, but you need to have a quality, you know, whether you can carry an entire film on your shoulders or not, etc.
Right. If you meet your younger self, the Saif who started off, is there any advice you'd like to give him?
Yeah, for sure. Is find your center, stay centered, play each role to its maximum entertainment quotient, and keep your mind clear. And don't, you know, but then that's what makes us human, right? Is to be all over the place at a certain age, to make a bit of a mess. That's the only time you know what it means to be clear, is when you've been unclear, right? So I'd say enjoy the ride. It's going to be fun.
Is it going to be the same advice you'll give to your sons if tomorrow they want to become actors?
Yeah, I'd say exactly that. I'd say just be actors then, and enjoy acting and play roles. And there's so many people around you, learn from all of them. There's so many big stars, great actors around. So try not to do the mistakes and try to do the good things. It's easier said than done. And make mistakes, sure. But, you know, what's the bottom line? You've got to contribute something to this world we live in. And we've chosen to contribute entertainment. So make sure it's entertaining.
Right. Congratulations for being a father
You're
again.
very kind.
It's
I
incredible.
look forward to talking to you
And,
again.
oh my God, that makes my day. And thank you so much for giving time.